Let's continue with numbers because the problem of microplastics is mainly about quantity. For some areas, data may not be available at all or is very difficult to obtain, even estimates. However, the European Commission has done some analysis in collaboration with the Initiative of Plastic Europe. In the case of personal care products, they found that the annual quantity of microplastics in Europe is around 700 tons per year for laundry products or between 500 and 1,100 tons per year for the products we use in households. For detergents, these amounts are slightly lower. We should also mention paints, coatings, and abrasives, especially industrial abrasives used in many industrial processes such as industrial sandblasting. You can see that when we talk about this aspect, the use of paints in construction contributes around 220 tons of microplastics per year. But still, why did I add another 22,000 to 38,000 here? Because the number 220 is a number for which we can reliably say that it comes from the paint sector. On the other hand, various analyses, especially in Denmark, show that the actual amount of microplastics obtained from this source is significantly higher. But when we talk about industrial abrasives, the figures for microplastics are somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 tons per year. Now, let us go through the three categories most often used at home, in households, in everyday tasks. These are mostly personal care products and detergents. First, maybe some numbers to get us started. As stated earlier, in the European Union, 714 tons of microplastics a year are expected to come from rinsing personal care products. Cosmetics Europe, the Association of Cosmetic Manufacturers, points out that according to their reports from 2012 to 2015, the use of microplastics in cosmetic products has been significantly reduced. The microbeads, which are small microplastic particles purposely added to some cosmetic products, are still used in various skin cleansing and exfoliating products. However, in 2017, it was estimated that very few European manufacturers still use synthetic polymers in their products. Let's go back to the criterion, for which purposes microplastics can be added to personal care products. According to the definition of Plastics Europe, microplastic perform the function of rubbing, cleaning, peeling, but in fact, there are even broader aims for its use. It depends mainly on what function it performs, what kind of polymer it is, the type of polymer, its size, and the shape of this polymer. Some can be spherical, amorphous, some are hexagonal, so the microbeads can be very different or even different from the nature of the product in which they are used. This wide range of features that microplastics can present in personal care products is also listed here. Not only the abrasive feature, the role of exfoliator, rubbing, or cleaning functionality, they are also added to products to regulate the viscosity, opacity, binding capability, structure, and volume of the product itself. They can also be used in makeup, especially for the effects of optical blurs, such as glitter. It can also allow the availability of other components in the product. Microplastics can act as a filter or an emulsifier, retain certain substances, and many more. When we talk about synthetic polymers, there are also some water-soluble materials like polyvinyl alcohol, polyethylene glycol. These plastic materials are currently not considered as the particles that would contribute to the problem of microplastic pollution of, for example, the marine environment. However, these materials may be examples of synthetic polymers that are more and more prevalent. If we look at the amount of microplastics according to their types and types of products in which they are used, they are mainly used for cleaning and rubbing. Here you can see the quantities. Outstanding is 440 tons per year for hand cleaners, professional ones, followed by a high proportion of peels for feet, face masks and some shower gels. If we look at what kind of polymers constitute these products, polyurethane is the most frequent. Polyethylene, nylon, or polyamide and polylactic acid appear a bit less often. However, as we can see, polyurethane and polyethylene are the most frequently used polymeric materials for household products.